All this story would begin on the old planet, since a baby had been born even much earlier than expected, because the energy that radiated his body was capable of even causing damage to his mother. At this very moment, he would be in an incubation capsule. But something that had shocked all the doctors in the place was that the child's power was completely null. But sometimes, the baby's hair would change to a purple color that even destroyed everything around him. What is supposed to be happening? His power is practically null, but sometimes, even though he does not release any power, he is capable of causing damage. We must definitely inform the King of Vegeta about this, since it can even be the legendary Super Saiyan. Oh, don't be stupid. It is said that the power of the legendary Super Saiyan was so great as to even destroy an entire planet, while his only pressure was capable of making all the inhabitants of a planet fall on their knees. Of course, I have also heard those legends, although in the end they can also be just fairy tales. But it doesn't matter. We must inform him. Both doctors would report everything that happened to King Vegeta, which when he arrived at the incubation room would not take any importance because the power of said baby was completely null. Unlike Broly's power, a small baby whose power this time was even capable of surpassing the elite class. This is unforgivable. The only one who must be the legendary Super Saiyan must be my dear son. So I want you to exterminate that baby. But my king, he can be the legendary Super Saiyan. Don't you think it would be better for him to be on our side, since with his help the power of our army will increase? No, I have given the order to execute that baby. I cannot allow a simple baby to be more powerful than me, much less the legendary Super Saiyan. For his part, Bardock, Kakarot's father, had arrived from one of his missions, realizing that Kakarot had been sent home in an incubator. I didn't know if you would arrive today. What do you think if we go to see how Kakarot is doing? He was born much earlier than expected, since his energy hurts me. It was a very different energy from the energy with which Raditz was born, but the radar does not detect his power. Bardock, with the help of his tracker, would try to measure Kakarot's power being null. Jenny, we are low-class warriors. It is normal that our son even has a null power, since apparently he will not be a warrior like me. That does not matter, Bardock, since look, his hair is identical to yours, since I want to see how it grows and how it looks more and more like you. Since I have arrived from my mission, I have a bad feeling but it would be interrupted by the incredible power which, despite his tracker did not detect any energy, a great pressure was able to make all the inhabitants kneel. His rank did not matter, since even the elite soldiers who were in the place would fall on their knees. Due to an incredible pressure, all this would happen around 4 kilometers. What the hell is going on? I had never felt a pressure of this caliber in my life. Is it a new enemy? My body hurts too much. I even feel like my bones seem to be pulverized. Bardock was able to look up a bit, realizing how Kakarot's hair would change to a purple color while even the whole incubator screamed for the power it was releasing. At the moment, Bardock was surprised by the energy his son released. Kakarot, I know you're a simple baby, but please try to calm down. If you continue to release all this incredible pressure, you will be able to end our lives. A much greater pressure was able to fall all over the old planet this time, but it would fade in a matter of seconds. But in those 5 seconds, all the inhabitants of the old planet felt like death was coming. For his part, Kakarot's hair would return to normal. Due to this, the pressure had stopped releasing. Bardock, with a little pain, would stand up, but all the inhabitants who were not of the warrior class were completely out of combat. Wow, I can't believe my son is able to release all that incredible pressure. But why is his power still 0? Is it a new power that even for the rastrators is impossible to track? I don't understand anything at all about what's going on. Meanwhile, on a planet far away from the entire Universe 7, the energy of baby Kakarot had been perceived by the Whis, the angel of the god of destruction Beerus, because the energy he had released was not able to be felt by any mortal who did not understand the divine energy. Only beings with understanding of this energy were able to feel the power that Kakarot had been able to release. Wow, this event is 1 in a million. Since a Saiyan is born with divine energy, it is impossible to see. Since the 18 universes have been created, only 3 warriors have been able to be born with divine power, not to mention the feats they have been able to achieve. With this little baby Saiyan, he would be the 4th warrior. Whis would begin to walk around the entire planet of the god of destruction Beerus, but without prior notice, when he realized that his god was resting, he would quickly go to the old planet of the Saiyans, arriving in a few minutes specifically to Kakarot's house, since it was where the power of a god of destruction was perceived. Whis would not notice the presence of Bardock, since he would help Jenny to lie down in her room so that she rests and recovers from the pressure that Kakarot had released. I feel proud, but at the same time, I feel so confused. I don't understand how my little Kakarot has been able to be born with all that incredible power. He will be the savior of the entire Saiyan race, since his power is of another level. Bardock, returning to the incubator, was able to observe Whis, who was watching Kakarot. I don't know who the hell you are, but it will be better for you to stay away from my son's incubator if you don't want to be hurt. Whis, without paying the slightest attention, would continue to observe Kakarot. Due to this, Bardock, with an anger but at the same time precaution, launched against Whis, but the outcome was obvious, since Whis, without taking Kakarot's sight, would manage to stop Bardock's blow with just one of his fingers. Due to this, he would return to observe. I have no intention of doing anything wrong with this baby Saiyan. I just want to observe him and understand how he was able to be born with the most beautiful energy of the gods of destruction. Bardock would be surprised, but not by the fact that Whis was able to stop his blow, but surprised by the words he had informed him. Kakarot, what did you say? What do you mean by the energy of a god of destruction? I don't understand. Let me introduce myself. I am Whis, the angel of the god of destruction Beerus. I am sure that you have seen us around the old planet on multiple occasions, since we usually come recurrently. Bardock would instantly remember how even Beerus gave him reverence every time a purple-skinned subject, accompanied by the being he had in front of him, came to the planet, just as he was even able to humiliate King Vegeta.
From the crater, a great light would rise everywhere, while an incredible energy was perceived everywhere. Even Gine would be surprised, since he would notice how Bardock's appearance had changed a bit, since his hair had turned silver, while his simple look was able to make the most powerful warriors of the entire Universe 7 tremble, not counting Beerus. I do not know what is all this power that runs through my body, but I am sure that with this new power, I will be able to defeat you, and I must thank you, since for you I have been able to access this new level. Do not say stupidity. It is correct that in all your body the divine energy is already present, but you will not be able to dominate it, since you only let yourself be carried away by emotions. But something to change in Bardock was that the words that this time Etrium said did not mean anything at all. Bardock instantly, like a flash, was able to connect a simple blow to the stomach, But although it seemed like a common and ordinary blow, it was not, since the damage that had generated it was a serious damage. Etrium, despite doing all the effort to try to stand up, it was impossible, while all the ground around him was covered in blood. No, damn it. How was he able to cause me so much damage with just one of his blows? This cannot be true. I am the only human to master the essence of a god. Etrium would stand up again, while he fixedly observed Bardock, and with great anger, he would swing against him. But this time, Bardock had been able to access the Ultra Instinct. Because of this, he was able to dodge each and every one of Etrium's blows, while Bardock was able to connect a few blows to him, generating great damage. Wow, this is what I did not expect. Bardock has not been able to master the essence of a god, but he has been able to access the Ultra Instinct. Definitely, in this family, it loves to skip the process, since even Kakarot was born with the power of a god. Gee Weiss, what happened to Bardock? How was he able to access that new power? And how was he able to master it, since I understand that it is a divine power? Really, this time I have an answer, since if he is not able to concentrate all his emotions and channel his power, accessing that state is extremely impossible. No. I do not intend to lose. In this attack, I will use all my power. Etrium would begin to channel all his power into the palm of his hand, while great storms were generated throughout the planet of Biles. Did not you say that it seemed pathetic to you that warriors generate devastation? This time, you are one of the pathetic ones you just talked about. I will not let you get away with yours. This planet will be your grave. The great attack of Etrium began to approach Bardock, which without moving would charge a small sphere of energy, but at the time of collision, both attacks seemed to be very even, but everything was a farce, because Bardock at that moment would give a big smile. I hope you did not think that was all my power. Bardock would expel much more power, being able to destroy the attack of Etrium completely, but being about to be reached, Weiss would interfere with the attack, being able to evaporate it everywhere. However, due to the power, a great explosion would form throughout the planet of Biles. I am surprised at the power that Bardock has been able to reach, but with that attack you have tried to end the life of your opponent? The only thing I have done is to return the favor, since he in the same way tried to end my life. Meanwhile, both chatted. Weiss's baculum would begin to sound. That is, Kakarot's training had also come to an end. Being able to leave that dimension, being able to feel an extremely incredible power. Wow, I thought it would take much longer, but apparently both are prodigies. This will be interesting for when Mr. Biles wakes up. But at the moment, the entire planet of the God of Destruction began to shudder, since Kakarot's power, being so great, was able to filter through the energy barriers, which had bothered Biles, releasing all his power, suddenly destroying everything around him, even making the entire universe 7 shudder. Father, I do not know what kind of transformation that is, but what do you think if we have a battle against the God of Destruction, Biles? For me, it will be the greatest honor to have a battle against a god, and much more, being by my son's side. The power of both warriors in the same way began to increase to divine levels on a large scale. To be continued.
Of course, Bardock. But this time, you will no longer fight against me. Since although I decrease my power to the lowest, it will not be an even fight. For that reason, I have decided that this warrior will be your opponent. From a great light of Whis Oracle, an ordinary warrior would appear before everyone. Ho 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 ho. Whis, don't make me laugh. This guy looks like a simple human. I'm sure that although he dominates the divine energy, he will be able to finish him with a single blow. Bardock, it will be better if you don't underestimate him, since I'm sure he will take a big surprise. And he is in the right place. He's a human, but the power he has been able to achieve has made him the king of all humans of an alternate line. Bardock would be a little surprised by Whis' clarification. Nice to see you again, Whis-sama, after so long. But apparently you want me to face this warrior I have in front of me. Although he has great power, he will not be able to do anything against me, since the difference in powers is unparalleled. Bardock, a little annoyed, would swing against the subject, but Bardock's fist would be stopped by a single warrior's finger. I haven't finished talking. That's bad manners. That's the only reason I'll accept this fight, to be able to give you some good mortals. So we will be able to witness a battle between the human Aetherion and the Saiyan Bardock, the human who was able to deal with the divine energy and the most powerful Saiyan of all mortals. What? How is it possible that this human has been able to deal with the divine energy? I can't believe it, since even his oppression doesn't seem so threatening. But Bardock instantly was able to observe how everything around him began to change due to all the power of the warrior. That's right. At this moment, Aetherion had released some of his great pressure, being able to release a silhouette in the form of death on the warrior's back. I hope you are prepared, since if you have tried to hit me, you must have a great power that supports you. Bardock, feeling the pressure of the warrior that fell on his whole body, would quickly access the Super Saiyan 3 maximum power, generating a few devastations for the place. I don't care if you are able to dominate the energy of a god. I am a Saiyan, and I have no intention of losing in this place. So get ready, you miserable worm! Aetherion, without saying a word, was able to move his aura in the form of shadows, being able to hit him millions of times. Bardock, even though he would make his greatest effort to try to escape the blows of his enemy, was not able to see anything. I do not understand why warriors as weak as you always, when you raise your power to the limit, generate explosions that only decreases the energy reserves. As I assumed, the difference in powers is incredible. No matter what Bardock tries, the power of Trion exceeds him dozens of times. Bardock would stand up while too much blood was released from his whole body, but despite the fact that Bardock did not possess the energy, his body remained one of the most resistant in the universe for the simple fact of remaining a warrior race. But in each exchange of blows, Bardock ended up disappointed with himself, as he was unable to connect any of his blows while Trion seemed to play with Bardock. Behind you, are you not able to see my movements? You are a good worm for nothing. I thought you would be something more powerful, but I should not have expectations of you. You thought you were more powerful. Expectations? Do not make me angry, damn good insect for nothing. At this moment, I will show you 100% of all my power. Bardock would instantly begin to access the Super Saiyan 4 maximum power, but this time it was something different, since due to the anger he felt inside, the power he was able to release was much greater than before, while from a great explosion of energy, he could observe Bardock's Super Saiyan 4. This is 100% of all my power. So I hope you are prepared, since I will not have mercy with you, damn worm. Mercy with me? Do not say nonsense, since even if there are 1,000 subjects like you, they will not be able to cause me a single scratch. The subject really wanted Bardock to lose his guts, since despite possessing divine energy, he was not a warrior. Of course, he had the advantage, but not by much, so his only advantage was that Bardock fought without any strategy, and he was getting it, since Bardock in each rematch was balanced with much more anger, which made him have many weak points. Of this, even Whis and Ginny had noticed. That is not the usual Bardock, since even I, who am not a warrior, am able to notice the movements he's making. He's leaving many weak points. You are right, Miss Ginny. Although I'm surprised that you have been able to notice Bardock's weak points, but the Treon is only corralling it psychologically, since in the difference of powers, despite the fact that the divine and mortal energy is totally different, the Treon, not being a warrior, is not capable of storing so much energy. Meanwhile, returning to the battlefield of Kakarot, in this place it had already been 6 months in which Kakarot was able to master all the variants of the Super Saiyan. Although they were not transformations that interest him, he was able to unlock a new level, since by accessing the Ultra Ego, the state with which he had been able to born in all his body, a much greater power would begin to travel. What is this feeling? I feel like a great power lies within me, but I am not able to fully control it. Will it be the fruit of my training? But I don't know, since I have only focused on mastering the transformation of the Super Saiyan. Kakarot would try to access the new latent power inside him, but it was impossible, since he did not have the proper training to be able to access that power. Apparently, to acquire that power, I must become much more powerful. And of course, I can do that, but I am still somewhat confused. Where did all that great power come from? Kakarot, without giving it so much importance, would begin to train physically and mentally. But what Kakarot did not know was that all that power was in the variants of the Ultra Ego. For this reason, Weasley had given him the task of mastering the variants of the Super Saiyan, so that when his body is able to adapt to these variants, meanwhile, returning to the battlefield, Bardock began to receive a real beating, since this time his power began to gradually decrease. Due to this, Etrian was able to change his combat, since he went from defending to counterattacking. Etrian was able to suggest Bardock of the Hair, being able to nail him to the base of the planet. Apparently, this has been the end of the fight, since Bardock seems to have to dominate all his emotions in the best way. Weasley, being about to end the fight, a great sphere of energy had directed against Bardock. Weasley, being about to interfere with Zubacolo's help, would stop to feel that a great divine energy from the crater, while Ginny would give a loud scream. Weasley, Weasley, why didn't you help Bardock? This is not a training. That sphere of energy will be able to end his life. Help him, please, Weasley. Ginny, in all this time, I have caught a great affection, so do not worry, since I will not allow Mr. Bardock to die. But please, observe.
That's right, in said multiverse, millions of years ago they feared the Saiyans race, because their power seemed to have no limits. Due to this, their divine energy was sealed, so all the Saiyans would remain mortals of great powers. But Kakarot, being a baby, had been able to be born with the power that belonged to the Saiyan gods, since many of them were able to be born with the Ultra Ego, or the Ultra Instinct.
Whis, when do we start with our training? I want to become much more powerful, and I know I can do it. You must first train patience, since if you continue with that insistence, we will start training when you are 7 years old. Kakarot would remain silent while returning to his base state. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, having not arrived Kakarot, Piccolo, Demeku would be the new ruler, ending the entire human race almost completely until 3 ships arrived. Wow, so this is planet Earth? We must cleanse the evil in our hearts, since as the Prince of the Saiyans knows, since thanks to that we will become more powerful, we will even be able to be at par with Bardock. I agree with you, Prince Vegeta. I promise to cleanse all my heart of the evil that lies in it, since in the same way, I want to become very powerful. But I still think how my father was able to survive the explosion of the old planet. This is completely amazing. I cannot believe it. But the trio of warriors would be interrupted by the Emperor of planet Earth. I do not know who the hell you are, but it is better that you do what I order you, since otherwise, I will end you in a single blow. How pathetic, just for being a being of another race superior to the Earthlings, it does not mean that the Saiyans are superior to us. So at this moment, we intend to end you so that planet Earth continues to prosper. Piccolo, before being able to say anything, Vegeta's fist had been able to completely pierce it, causing too much blood to spread throughout the place. I thought you were a much more powerful warrior, but after all you are just another worm. Vegeta would open his hand, making Piccolo explode into hundreds of pieces. Thanks to this, planet Earth was able to begin to rebuild everything that Piccolo had destroyed. For his part, on the planet of Beerus, Kakarot along with Whis were training, while Bardock was meditating in order to control the divine energy. I must control the divine energy, since it is the only method with which I can become much more powerful. For his part, Kakarot, despite possessing the power of the Ultra Ego, traveling throughout his body was still not enough power to do anything against Whis. However, throughout the multiverse, certain warriors were observing the progress Kakarot was making. The power of that child is incredible. He is even capable of comparing himself to a supreme god to his maximum power. Currently, only Beerus, the ex-leader of the supreme gods, would be able to keep him at bay, since his power grows immeasurably. I agree with you, although we must take into account that this simple child has been able to be born with the power of a god, which is something incredible that has happened in the kingdom of Zeno, since his multiverse does not have the required level. A guy with horns on his throne would say absolutely nothing. For his part, returning to Kakarot's training, this, despite using all kinds of techniques, was not able to give a single blow to Whis. Enough. From now on, Kakarot will train in an alternate dimension in my sacred vessel, in order to be able to fully merge with the energy of the Ultra Ego, since when he is able to do so, his power will grow in an incredible way. In that case, I go to the dimension that Whis has told me. Father, when I return, I want to have a confrontation with you again, since I feel as if your power has increased in a great way. When you return, I am sure that I will dominate the essence of a god, and this time, I will be able to measure myself just like you. Please, my little Kakarot, take good care of yourself. Of course, Mother, do not worry. We do all this for the purpose of something, since we have to be able to give the best battle of his life to Mr. Beerus. I am sure Mr. Beerus will be very surprised. But it's time, Kakarot. In that dimension, it will most likely be that his body will develop completely, since an adult body is capable of storing much more energy. So good luck. I understand, Whis. Do not worry. I am prepared for anything. Kakarot would enter the dimension in which the moment he entered, he felt like his whole body began to have great pressure, while his whole body grew rapidly. That's right. That dimension was the dimension of training a guardian angel. Due to this, the level it required was demanding, since none except Beerus,
the leader of the supreme gods, had been able to support it. I'm sure Kakarot will be able to dominate all that pressure, and I want to know what my father's reaction will be when he knows that there is another being that surpasses the power of a king. Returning to the dimension, after a few hours in which Kakarot had suffered an agonizing pain, almost close to death, Kakarot would stand up while he would realize that his body had evolved, since he was in an adult version of himself, while within him there was a great power. I'm ready to dominate the energy of a god. I'm sure I'm Saiyan C. I'm sure I will be able to beat Mr. Beerus. Kakarot would start with a rigorous training, with the aim of surpassing the leader of the supreme gods. Kakarot in that dimension would begin with a rigorous training, in which, despite the fact that no one was watching him, he was always on the verge of death, because the Saiyans were able to become much more powerful after great injuries in the battlefield. Kakarot would use this, so he would use all the power to train, as well as generating great damage, even simulating real battles. I must be able to dominate all my power completely. I don't need the ordinary transformations of the Super Saiyan, but Whis has recommended that I be able to dominate them. I don't understand why, but I will. Kakarot would continue with his training, which this time not only depended on physical training, since he even meditated in extreme environments so that his body gets used to gravity while meditating. For his part, outside the dimension, Whis would continue to train Bardock. But despite being able to achieve an overwhelming power against all mortals, for the gods, he was still a simple worm, since the divine and mortal energy had an abysmal difference. I'm surprised. I don't know how Kakarot has been able to be born with the energy beyond a god of destruction, if even you, who is his father, find it difficult to master the essence of a god. Damn it, Whis. Even if it doesn't seem like it, it's frustrating for me. But despite this, I know I can achieve it, since before I never imagined that I would reach all this power. So this time, I know I can do it without any difficulty. Those are the words I like to hear, since I do not agree with warriors that give up easily. They are right that several warriors are able to be born with a greater talent, but if a low-class warrior strives, he is able to overcome it. I agree with you, Whis, so please keep training me.
Bardock instantly, with a flash, was able to appear a few centimeters from Kakarot, but at the moment he was about to speak, he was surprised to realize that in that place there was no one, while Kakarot would put his hand on his father's back. Although it seems stupid, I have been able to analyze your combat style with 99% credibility. For that reason, you will not be able to take me with the low guard. Bardock, at the moment a little irritated, he swung against Kakarot. Both began to exchange thousands of blows all over the place. But those that Kakarot was not able to dodge, he was able to receive them with his incredible defense, not letting any blow cause him great damage. So at the moment, Kakarot would expel a little of his great power, with which he was able to completely overshadow Bardock's aura, since although Bardock's power was incredible, it was not compared in the slightest to the power of a god. The great pressure was able to make him fall to the ground as if a gravity fell on his whole body. What the hell is this? I am not able to move in the slightest, and I feel like my whole body weighs too much. Is this the power of a god? The power with which my son has been able to be born, but I cannot stay behind my son. Bardock, despite the pressure, would stand up while spitting a little blood. Bardock has been able to study me completely, my fighting style and my skills. But what you will never be able to study will be the resistance of the Saiyan body. Bardock would squeeze his fists with great power while his whole body began to fill with a fur, as well as all his power was fired in a great way. Wow, this is amazing! I never thought that Kakarot would be able to force Bardock to use the Super Saiyan 4. That is Bardock's maximum power. It really amazes me that Kakarot, being a child, has been able to meditate and dominate the energy that lies within him. From a great explosion throughout the battlefield, Bardock's Super Saiyan 4 could be observed. Wow, that's amazing! I thought that only I had been able to have an Osaru-style transformation, but after all, you are my father. You should also have this transformation. What did you just say? What do you mean that you also have a transformation like this? You could not reach this transformation without first going through the other variants. Of course you can, father, or I do not know if mine will be another transformation, but it looks very similar. So observe the power that I have been able to obtain. Kakarot would instantly begin to surround himself with a red aura, while everything around him began to tremble in a much more brutal way than Bardock's, while a fur began to turn all over Kakarot's body. After a few minutes, Kakarot's new appearance could be observed, in which his fur was very little pink due to the fact that the energy of the Ultra Ego would combine with that state. That's right, Kakarot in that transformation possessed the energy of a god of destruction. How was he able to do that? Was he able to combine the transformation of Super Saiyan 4 with the state that was originally born? But how was he able to achieve it? Quiz, I don't understand anything. What Kakarot did is good or bad, since being a simple child, his whole body could explode due to the excess of energy. Or am I wrong? Of course you are wrong, Janae, since with what Kakarot has just achieved, that means that his power goes beyond the power of a simple mortal. For that very reason, he has been able to adopt a new transformation so that his body dominates all the power. Are you trying to tell me that Kakarot's body has been able to adapt to new transformation since it needed to evolve? In short, you are correct, but I am surprised at how he has achieved it. At only 5 years old, the power that Kakarot will awaken in the future will be unparalleled. Apparently, the state that Kakarot possesses is much more powerful than mine, but I have no intention of giving up. So right now I will use all my power. Father, I'm ready, so attack whenever you want, but use all your power, since having not used this transformation I am not able to contain myself so much. It will be better for you to contain yourself, since otherwise I am sure I can cause you great damage, so you better be prepared, Kakarot. But Kakarot's arm was touching Bardock's chest, which he was not even able to notice when Kakarot moved to where he was. Damn, what kind of speed is that? If it hadn't been because he touched my chest, I wouldn't have noticed that he got to where I was. Bardock would take a little distance while raising his power to the limit of which his body was able to withstand without compromising speed loss. This will be a bit interesting, but I want to start with the master training, since I want to be able to face Mr. Beerus. Kakarot would instantly stretch one of his hands, stopping Bardock's blow. At the moment, Bardock would begin to throw hundreds of blows, energy spheres, kicks, but nothing was effective against Kakarot, because this time Kakarot's power surpassed him in an abysmal way, while Kakarot was able to see each of his father's blows in slow motion, unlike Bardock, who was not even able to observe how Kakarot was able to dodge all his blows. Bardock would now go back a bit. What the hell? I can't believe all the power you've been able to increase with that transformation, but I have to be able to do something about it. Bardock, when flying towards Kakarot with a much more overwhelming speed would connect a slight blow to his father's neck, but even though he had contained himself, he was able to send him to fly to the planet, destroying everything in his path, while Bardock would lose the state of Super Saiyan 4, being badly injured, expelling large amounts of blood. No, demons, I have not been able to contain myself enough. I am very sorry, Father. I promise you that I tried to contain myself as much as I could, but it was impossible. Do not worry, my son.
but I must confess that the power you possess is amazing. I never thought that my son would have so much power. Bardock would be out of combat, but with the help of Geese he was able to put him in a recovery capsule. Geese, a question. I have noticed that you have been able to cure my father with the help of tobacco. Why don't you cure him with tobacco this time? I can see that you are very observant, Kakarot. But I will tell you, in that capsule I have been able to inject a little divine energy, and because of the wounds that your father has, the divine water will be better and will be able to penetrate his entire being. Oh, I understand. That means that when he is able to fully recover, he will be able to assimilate the divine energy in a better way. You are very intelligent despite your young age. I like that about you, Kakarot. I am sure that with good training and guidance, you will be able to surpass Mr. Beerus. I thank you very much, Geese, and I am sure that I will be able to exceed all your expectations. I will not let anyone be more powerful than me, for sure. I do not doubt that Kakarot, since in his being there are the two most powerful energies of the entire vast universe.
Father, how are you able to possess all that incredible power? I never thought you would have all that hidden power. Can you train us, please? We want to become more powerful. No, I can't train you until you are able to clean and purify the evil that exists in your hearts. So while evil exists in your hearts, I don't want to know anything about you. We must improve and not stay conquering planets. Bardock, without waiting for his answer, would march along with Whis to the planet of Beerus, in which Bardock would continue with his great training, accessing a new level. Wow, Bardock! I am surprised that in this last year, you have been able to get the Super Saiyan 4. Although, you have not been able to master the divine energy. His mortal power is incredible. I would even dare to tell you that with his maximum power, he would be able to give battle to Mr. Beerus using 11% of all his power. Wow, definitely Beerus's power is at another level. But I am sure that one day I will be able to approach that incredible power. But Whis, it's time to start Kakarot's training, since he already has the right understanding. It is what I have been waiting for so long. At this very moment, we will begin. Jean would arrive at Kakarot along with Bardock and Whis. My little one, from today you will begin your great training with your father and the angel Whis. So I hope you give your best so that you become very powerful. Of course, Mother, I have always longed to train with my father and Whis together, since I am also a very powerful Saiyan. In that case, we will begin with the understanding of his divine energy, since it is in vain that we begin with mortal energy, since his mortal energy is almost null. Goku, despite being a simple child, would begin to meditate, being able to feel how each of his veins of energy filled with a colossal power. That is, the divine energy was hundreds of times superior to the mortal. Since if we put in a scale the same amount of mortal and divine energy, the divine energy would be able to completely destroy it. I am surprised by the ability he has to meditate, since despite being only 5 years old, he is able to understand what I have wanted to teach him. He will be a great warrior. I don't know why, but my body burns with enthusiasm. I want to be able to see Kakarot's limit, although I doubt he has a limit, since if an ordinary Saiyan does not have a limit, I don't even want to imagine the power to which Kakarot will be able to reach. With the level of learning I have, I am sure that in a matter of a year, he will be able even to surpass his power, or even in a much shorter time. Kakarot, despite being a simple child, would continue in a meditation pose for approximately 3 weeks, in which each of his veins of energy, like the flow of the Ultra Ego, was able to fully combine with his body. So at the moment, Kakarot would open his eyes, while an amazing pressure was released throughout the planet of Beerus, while all the hair and eyes of Kakarot would turn red. Wow! What is that transformation? I am not able to feel his power in the slightest. That means that Kakarot has been able to obtain the complete essence of a god. Wow! I am surprised that you have been able to master the essence of a god in less than a month. Although it was to be expected, since you were even able to be born with that power. I feel my body extremely light. Whis, Father, I know that I have never had a training in the battlefield, but I have always seen how you train. Please, I ask you to allow me to have a friendly battle with my father. No, definitely not. You have only been training for a month. What? You want to face your father? He has been training for approximately 5 years. It's completely crazy. In fact, I do not see it as a bad idea, since the Saiyans become much more powerful thanks to the battles and facing their father. I know he will not attack them with the intention of ending his life, so the training is perfect. If Whis is saying it like that, of course we will have that training, my son. I thank you very much, Father. I promise to do my best not to let you down. Do not worry. Since the day of your birth, I am completely proud of you. So do not worry, but show me everything you can do. Whis would create a great barrier around the castle of Beerus so that the fight would not be able to awaken it, while instantly both warriors began to walk. I will only use my base state, since I doubt that Kakarot's power has risen in a great way in this short period of time. Kakarot, without prior notice, was able to appear a few centimeters from his father's face trying to hit him, which Bardock was able to dodge with enormous difficulty. Because Kakarot's speed was amazing. Bardock would try to keep his distance, but Kakarot was already at Bardock's side. Due to this, both warriors began to exchange hundreds of blows all over the place. But Bardock began to see himself completely surpassed by Kakarot's power. Father, it will be better if you use a lot more power, since if you only fight using your base state, this will be completely boring. Go. So you want me to use a lot more power? I hope you do not regret it, since I do not intend to contain myself. This is the power of the Super Saiyan. Bardock would access the Super Saiyan swinging against Kakarot, but Kakarot, moving his neck to one side, was able to dodge his father's blow, being able to connect an incredible knee in his stomach, and due to the speed with which Bardock approached, he would vomit too much blood all over the battlefield, leaving everyone surprised. Wow, Kakarot's power is definitely incredible. He has been able to hack Bardock. No matter if he has trained for 5 years, the difference in energy is incomparable. That hurt me too much. But what can you do now? Bardock, being a few centimeters away, would throw thousands of blows. However, Kakarot was able to see each of his movements. This would be noticed by Bardock, who with a big smile would begin to release much more power, making the small planet of Beerus begin to shudder completely, since Bardock was expelling a great power. Bardock's incredible power was able to shudder the entire planet of Beerus, but thanks to the barrier that Whis had placed, Beerus was unable to feel any energy on his planet, so the warriors were out of danger. Bardock would continue to release his incredible power, while his hair began to grow. At the moment of a great light, you can see Bardock's new appearance. That's right.
This time, Bardock was able to access Super Saiyan 3, leaving Kakarot a little surprised. Wow, your power is incredible. But I doubt you are able to face me, Father, since although you and Master Whis did not allow me to train, I was able to analyze your combat style. Thanks to that, I am able to dodge each of your blows, Father. It's amazing, Kakarot, but you will never be able to beat me if you have only been able to study my combat style. Since on the battlefield, even a millisecond of reaction can save your life. I mean this.
I will be eternally indebted to you. Don't worry, although to be honest, these last few years have been entertaining, even for me, since, as you may have noticed, Mr. Beerus is capable of taking long days off. Due to this, I am usually completely bored. Although, Whis, I want to prove all the power of Kakarot. Currently, he is 4 years old. He still does not have the required age to have the training, but only 1 more year and he will start with your great training. I agree with you, Bardock. In 1 more year, Kakarot will join our training. At the moment, Whis' scabbard would begin to shine, suggesting that something was happening with the evil Emperor Frieza, because Bardock had asked him approximately 2 years ago to let him know if Frieza is capable of messing with his son Radix. Bardock, apparently Frieza is about to end the last warriors of the Saiyan race, since they have been ambushed on Frieza's planet and the 3 Saiyans, named Vegeta, Nappa, and his son Radix, are in terrible condition. Bardock, you must help him. Even if we have not had contact with Radix, he is still our son and currently has the power required to defeat Frieza. Whis, I ask you a favor. Take me to that place. It is time to end the life of the evil Emperor. I will never forgive him for destroying our planet. Do not worry, Bardock. This will be very interesting. Whis and Bardock began to head towards Frieza's planet, which upon arrival realized how the place looked like a battlefield, because the Saiyans tried to do everything to defend themselves, but it had been impossible to do anything against Frieza's special forces. So he was able to observe the 3 Saiyans on the brink of death, while Frieza smiled like a maniac. With this, I have completely eliminated all the monkeys. Although they would serve me more alive, I feared that at some point they would turn against me. My lord, do you want me to finish them once and for all? Of course not, soldier. Let them suffer. And I want you to know that I was the one who destroyed the old planet, since it was not a meteorite as rumors say. I myself was able to end that planet that existed, all of you damn monkeys. No, damn it. I always had that doubt, and I was never able to say goodbye to my parents. I even knew that I would have a younger brother. No, damn it. How funny they look clinging to life, but they will not be able to do anything since they do not have a great power that is able to back them up. At the time, an amazing power was able to shake the entire planet of Frieza, as each of its tracers exploded since they were able to perceive a power that exceeded 3,000 units, while in the shadows it could be seen how Bardock was approaching the roof of warriors. At this moment, I, Bardock, have planned to finish you damn Frieza, so you better prepare yourself, since I have the power required to defeat you. I must admit that you have an incredible power, but even if you exceed 30,000 units of power, you will not be able to do anything against me, since I, even with my second form, am able to access the millionth power. Soldiers, finish him. Frieza's elite special forces swung against Bardock, who, without the slightest effort, was able to finish off each of his warriors, leaving only Frieza while he watched him closely. As you have said, transform yourself, and I do not want you to access your second form, since I will not let you release your power again. If you want to give me battle, access your maximum power, since I am the one you have feared so much, damn you. While Bardock and Frieza were about to fight, Raditz, with his staff, was able to heal each of the Saiyans, who were surprised to realize that Bardock had incredible power to even finish off Frieza's elite forces. What? My father? Since when does he have all that power? This is crazy. I agree with you, Raditz. Since Bardock was always considered a low-class soldier, I don't even know how he was able to get that amazing power. Nappa only observed everything that happened, while at the moment a chill would run through the body of everyone present because Frieza, on this occasion, was beginning to access his last transformation. Everything around him began to tremble, while from a great light, Frieza could be seen in his last form. I hope you are ready to die, stupid monkey. You have been able to annoy my show. I wanted to see how those damn good monkeys agonized, for nothing. So I hope you are able to entertain me a little. The one who will agonize will be another, since I will humiliate you in the worst possible way. Frieza, irritated by the arrogance of that Saiyan, with great speed he headed for him in a straight line. Bardock, despite observing each of his movements, would not move from the same place, so an incredible blow was able to hit the entire face of Bardock, generating a great destruction for everything around him. But while the dust and smoke began to dissipate, it could be seen how Frieza's fist had not been able to move Bardock. What? Is that all the power that the supposed Emperor of Evil is capable of showing? Let me tell you that he has not been able to tickle me or tickle me. Frieza would instantly feel a chill run through his entire body, but before he was able to react, Bardock's fist was embedded in his stomach, sending it to fly, destroying everything around him, because the power of the fist had been overwhelming. Frieza, among the dust generated, would try to stand up, but with a single blow, the damage he had caused was incomparable, since the Emperor of Evil began to spit large amounts of blood all over the place. I can't believe what I'm seeing. If it weren't because I'm seeing it with my own eyes, I wouldn't be able to assimilate it. Even joining forces, were not able to do anything against Frieza's elite. Father, have you always had that power? You really cannot be considered of low class, since you are even above all the elite soldiers. What's going on, Frieza? I have tried to contain myself, since I want you to be able to admire the power of the Super Saiyan you feared so much. Bardock, at the moment, tightened his fists, would begin to raise his power in a great way, while the planet shuddered in a much more brutal way. Like, all the Bardock's hair began to turn a golden color, causing all those present to be surprised by all the incredible power he was able to release. This is the legendary Super Saiyan you feared so much, and at this very moment, I will show you the power of the legend you feared so much. Bardock, with a quick movement, was able to insert his fist into Frieza's chest, being able to hold his heart completely. Frieza would spit blood while he was only able to see the Saiyan's gaze. Please forgive me, life. I promise I will leave and you will never, ever see me again. Bardock would take his hand out of his chest while Frieza would fall to the ground, beginning to bleed. Frieza would ask for help, to which Bardock would turn. I want you to give me a great show. I want to see how you cling to life. Frieza would remember that it was the same words he said to the three Saiyans. For his part, Raditz had too many questions, since he thought his father had died in the explosion. But if you are the warriors who are even able to duplicate the great Frieza, the power of Frieza next to this child is like trying to compare an adult with a simple baby. Since although Frieza has great power, it is not compared to a baby that already has divine energy. So the difference in their powers is incomparable. That means that Kakarot is even now much more powerful than Frieza. You are right, but in the same way, although his power is much more powerful than Frieza's power, Frieza is capable of annihilating him with some difficulty, but he has experience in the battlefield. What's more, Kakarot is not yet able to protect himself. Of course, I understand your point of view. I apologize for hitting you. I thought you wanted to do something to my dear Kakarot. Although I have thought about sending him to planet Earth, since I feel that the damned Frieza wants to destroy our planet. I am surprised at how his senses are much sharper than the other Saiyans. Being a divine being, I affirm that Frieza will destroy the old planet in the next 2 days. But what do you think if you and your wife and son come with me? I can make you much more powerful, and I am the only one in this universe for Kakarot to be able to master his energy. I thank you very much, and of course we accept. We will be eternally grateful. Do not worry, I am sure that Kakarot will be a great opponent for Mr. Beerus. So much so that I am sure that he will even be able to defeat him. Whis, with his Bakulo, was able to make Jean fully recover, but he was in shock. Bardock, what's going on? Who is this guy? Jean, I do not want you to be scared. We leave with him, since apparently Frieza has planned to destroy our planet, and something else. It seems that Kakarot has been able to be born with the energy of the gods of destruction, and he will be the master of our little son. What? Are you serious? I am not able to understand all this information. I had no idea about the gods, much less that Kakarot had been able to be born with the energy beyond the gods. For that very reason, Kakarot's power seemed to destroy his entire interior, since a mortal is not capable of carrying a powerful warrior like Kakarot in his being. Seriously, I thank you for doing this for us. At this moment, we leave with you. For his part, in the palace of King Vegeta, he would give the immediate order to eradicate Saiyan Broly, due to the incredible pressure that could be felt throughout the old planet. He was even able to bend it to him. I cannot allow a simple baby to be much more powerful than me. I cannot allow this. I want them to end their lives. Only my dear Vegeta must be the legendary Super Saiyan. I will not allow anyone to take his place. Multiple warriors were after Paragus, just like his son Broly. But Paragus, with the help of a ship, was able to leave for a planet with the intention of saving his son. He has been able to throw us as if we were simple garbage. I swear that I will not forget this damned King Vegeta. I want your head on my throne. Meanwhile, on the planet of Beerus, everyone had been able to arrive. So this time, Whis, with his great power, was able to create a much more resistant incubator, because this incubator was able to contain the energy of a god of destruction. Thanks to this, it did not matter that Kakarot released the power of the Ultra Ego, he would not be able to crack it, much less cause damage all over the place. And in that case, while Kakarot finishes his growth for 2 months approximately, I will take care of training him, since he is able to increase his power. Because you, as Kakarot's father, must have great power. I really appreciate it a lot, and of course, I will try my best. I have to become much more powerful, and I know that I can achieve it. In that case, it will be better if we start right now, since I have thought that even you are able to do with the power beyond a god, or is what I want to try. Since it is said that the Saiyans do not know limits, I want to check that. For me, it would be a pleasure to be your experiment. If with that I am able to become much more powerful, and so I am able to protect my whole family, so whenever you want. Whis, with the help of his staff, would drop a slight pressure, being similar to the maximum power of Frieza in his first form. Bardock would fall to the ground on his knees, but despite this, he would begin to resist, since previously the incredible pressure of Kakarot had been able to crush him completely. If I compare this pressure with Kakarot's pressure, it is nothing. I have to be able to remain normal under this damned pressure. Bardock, with all his will and using up to the last drop of his energy, was able to stand up. However, each of his legs trembled too much. At the moment, Whis would stop releasing all the pressure, so Bardock would fall to the ground while a little blood came out of his mouth. Do not worry. The pressure that I am able to exert with my staff is even able to heal each of his bones at the end, so you should not be afraid to die. But while he is training, he will feel his body completely destroyed. That does not interest me. I am sure that my body is capable of supporting this and much more, since as you have even said, we the Saiyans do not have limits. But something surprising would happen all over the planet, since a great power would be able to be felt all over the place, while even the incubator that Whis had created began to crack, since this time Kakarot was able to free himself all over the planet of Beerus, since his incubator would be completely destroyed. This is incredible, but if he continues to release all that power, he is even able to interrupt the dream of Mr. Beerus, and I am sure that would be able to anger him enough to even exterminate all those present. Whis, with the help of his staff, would create a powerful barrier that was even able to contain the power of a god to 40% of all his power. Kakarot's power, no matter how great it is, had not been able to cause any scratch to that barrier. I am definitely surprised by all the power that your son is showing. I am sure that he will even be able to surpass the other 3 subjects who were born with the power beyond the gods. Are there other warriors like Kakarot? What are they? The only thing I can tell you is that the feats they have accomplished are feats that will never be able to break unless Kakarot's power is even able to overcome them. Whis would observe how Kakarot would calm down, while the same barrier would act as a new incubator. Bardock would continue with a great training under the teachings of Whis, and this, being a guardian angel, had the power required to return Bardock to an extremely powerful warrior. For his part, 4 years had already passed since the arrival of the Saiyans, the planet of Belzi, in which Bardock had achieved the powerful Super Saiyan Phase 3, even beginning to master the essence of the gods. I really appreciate it, Whis. If it hadn't been for you, I never would have been able to achieve this incredible power.